From the Geek Group's high-energy physics laboratory comes our aluminum sublimating impulse generator, affectionately known as Project Thumper. There are essentially four components to Thumper: the capacitor charging cabinet, the firing circuit, the safety discharge circuit, and the panel that controls them. The bottom drawer within the capacitor cabinet contains the charging system. Turning the key on the control panel to arm allows 120 volts of alternating current from a standard outlet to pass into a high-voltage relay, which prevents current flowing back into the wall. Turning the fire charge switch to charge, then pressing the charge button, closes the contact in the high-voltage relay, allowing the current to flow into the transformer, stepping up the voltage to around 2.5 kilovolts. From the transformer, the current flows into 36 diodes arranged in 4 arrays, each with 3 parallel rows of 3 diodes in series, wired as a full-wave bridge rectifier to output direct current into the capacitor bank. Using 160 450-volt capacitors, each with 2,000 microfarads of capacitance, and 8 shelves of 5 parallel series of 4, means our 1.8 kilovolts discharges at 80,000 amperes. Since that works out to a 144 million watt impulse, the discharge circuitry is made to stand up to considerable usage. We turn the charge fire switch to fire, priming the charge potential to flow through copper cable and 5-inch wide 3/8 inch thick copper plate with robust insulators between it and the table. The business end of Thumper is called the test stand and is comprised of a pair of J-hooks across which we place whatever piece of material we're going to be testing if it's in lab use or destroying if it's for a show, for instance a can, which is functionally much like a terrible fuse. Encased in macrolon, a common component of bulletproof glass, is a pneumatically controlled spark gap which, with the arm firing switch depressed, receives a signal from the big red button of science to close the gap between the two brass cylinders to 30,000ths of an inch, allowing the impulse to spark across and obliterate the item in the hook. The impulse only lasts around 3,000ths of a second, in which time any aluminum that isn't heated to incandescent vaporization is torn to shreds and blasted across the room with a thunderous shockwave. The audience, standing a minimum of 35 feet across the room behind a safety cage, feel that shockwave as a thump in their chests, from which Thumper derives its name. While the array of light bulbs atop the cabinet are a resistor during charging, they are most useful for removing residual charge from the bank, either after firing or should we need to abort firing altogether. Switching the key to the dump position uses those bulbs to slowly and safely dissipate the energy away from the caps. The entire process takes about a minute and a half, which is about how long it takes for the afterimage to fade from the audience's retinas.